Welcome to the Glolent podcast, the podcast for remote work and freelancing in practice.
Welcome, Peter and Silvia, to this episode of the Glolent podcast. Peter and Silvia are both working remotely. They're a couple, so we had that constellation before, couple working remotely with Astrid and Max, and I'm very happy to welcome both of them. Welcome, and thank you for doing the interview with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Peter, why don't you start?
So I work for a security company, and I do data protection, and it's a fantastic job. It allows me to work remotely, obviously. That's why I'm here. And I would say it's a very, I travel a lot every now and again, and it's periodic, but most of the time it allows me to stay at home and work from my man cave that I've set up here for myself.
Yes, I've seen that. That's a great office you created for yourself. You guys are actually at your home office right now.
Exactly. Right? We got this place together. We moved in not so many months ago. I would say we've been together for a bit over 2.5 years now. So, 5 or 6 months ago, we moved in together, and we bought this with the intention of working from home, which meant that we got a room each to work from, so we wouldn't disturb each other during calls and meetings, etc. So,
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, Silvia, you're also working remotely, but for a different company.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about your job?
Yes, I'm actually I'm a freelancer. I think Peter didn't mention, but he's a definitely like full-time employee. But I'm a freelancer. I do have to comply with some schedule for my company, so I only have one customer. This customer is in the UK. Mm-hmm. So it is some sort of like a very odd freelancing, because like I have to just like log in the morning and finish at 6 p.m. and I have a schedule. But it is very easy to just, wake up in the morning, take your time, log in your computer, and then forget about all the stress of commute and everything else. And I am very happy doing what I do. I'm a technical support, application outsourcing team lead. And yes, this opportunity is once in a lifetime for me, at least. So I'm enjoying every second of it.
That sounds great. And do you sometimes, Peter mentioned that he's traveling sometimes, I assume, to see clients. Mm. Do you sometimes go to the UK to meet the team? Or?
I have been to the UK only once for work. If I'm ever required in the UK, it's mostly for like big team meetings, or like the entire company has to, not the entire company, but the entire project has to like gather for some important announcement, or just to catch up what's going on with different systems. But it's happened only once, and even if I don't go to the UK, I think I could join by, online Skype or something like that. So it didn't require me to travel really.
Okay,
it's not necessary.
That's really nice. So that's like a full remote job.
100%.
Okay, that's great. How do you see the traveling part, Peter? Is it for you something that you enjoy, or is it something that
at this stage in life? Yes. I mean, I imagine if I ever become a family man at some point, it could be a bit of something I would not like, depending on the family situation. But I would love. Right now, I enjoy it a lot. Like, there was a period when it peaks, when I have to travel like almost every week for a period of time. I kind of start missing my friends and of course my girlfriend. Hey, that it becomes a little bit too much. But I think last time we had a fun idea of that. We when I traveled, and Silvia, as she can work anywhere she wants, as I can, she just went with me. We met up in London, and she worked remote with me in London, and we met up and had a weekend in London. And I flew back. I needed to be on there on the weekend as well, so then I flew back. The week after, she took a flight back, and yeah, we got a decently cheap vacation in London for relatively what?
That's really sweet. Yeah.
Things you can do, basically, right?
That's the power remote couple, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, right? It's just got to get a bit creative and take initiative on it.
Yeah, great. And did you also think about doing like a longer vacation or workation together? That might also be an option, right?
Oh yes, I do really want to like go 1-2 months to Italy or something like that. Some country that sticks to the same time zone or similar, so that we can still keep our schedules. But yeah, just you can easily do that. That's fantastic. That's what's fantastic about this. That you can just decide I want to go to France. I can stay there 1 week.
Yeah, that is for sure.
And still work from there.
That is for sure on our bucket list, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, the only limitation for Peter, I think, will be the airports. Yeah, he has to be close to airports.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I don't really have that problem.
Yes.
And anyway, like every city has their airport at this point, or it's very easy to just go anywhere.
It's actually, when you talk about this, I realize it's a very similar setup that I have with Eve, my girlfriend, right? So we are basically in the same. I'm on a full remote position, and she is working basically mostly remote, and it's the same kind of setup. So yeah, it gives you a lot of opportunity to do things basically. And that's really great. And I think you've both worked in an office before, I assume, right?
Oh yeah, I worked for about 5 years in Parque Tecnológico in the PTA of Malaga.
That's the part of Malaga where a lot of tech companies have their office.
Exactly, they call it the Silicon Valley of Malaga. A little bit too daring, but it is so much different. Like I used to take 1 hour, and Peter too, because he also worked there in the PTA. It took like 1 hour to get to PTA. Everybody was so stressed in the morning, all these traffic jams. It was so annoying. And then you have to wake up like at 6:30 if you want to get there at 8, which is like really ridiculous. You sacrifice sleeping time. You arrive like annoyed, or really, it doesn't really collaborate with the mood that you usually have to have, or that the companies strive to incentivize in the workers. It doesn't really help at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make you more productive, I think.
Certainly not. And when you're driving a car 7:30 when you have had like very little sleep, that's also not very good for safety for anyone. So it's, even though I haven't really seen like too many traffic accidents in the morning, I must say, but it's still not the best.
How about you, Peter? You were in a similar situation, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We even used to have lunch together over there, me and Silvia. So our offices were quite close. So there was the benefit of that relationship-wise. It was fantastic. But
now it's even closer.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's super close. now we meet by the water cooler in our apartment. Basically. So pretty much the same setup, but it's much more intimate. So I totally I echo everything that Silvia would say there. It says there, and I could add like some reflections. So yeah, total waste of time on this, going back and forth, and also then spending time with a lot of extra people that kind of interrupts your work. Yes, of course, it has the benefit.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, of course, there is the benefit of seeing people, which is something I not always like doing. I kind of like, but I like seeing people when I want to see people, and by choice. And that's why I have a remote office, company hotel that I can go and work at, which is awesome. That I can go and see people and work there for a while. But I don't really use it that much anymore. Now that I'm used to working from home.
Co-working space.
Yeah, co-working
right?
space. Yes, thank you. And then I guess I mean, it's just getting used to it, I guess. Getting working from home is the tricky part. There's a bit of a transition phase of how to best do it. How to schedule. If you have if the job gives me solid tasks, which in this case I do, it actually gives me a lot to do, and I have a lot of work. The thing is, I find myself sometimes working way more than I would have done in an office, because actually more hours I work, but at the end of the day, surprisingly, I have more time for my personal life. My work-life balance is better, even though I work more. It's like a win-win for everyone, I feel.
Yes, yeah. Exactly, yeah. If you can do that, if you can save the commute, you're more relaxed. It's not only saving the time, but also the stress.
I mean, and you're so close to other things that you might need to do that day. Like, you don't have to, I need to go run an errand, or I got some Amazon packages coming in.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem.
It's such a life hack to go to get groceries during the day, or do things people, go to shops or something during the day, and not on the weekend, and not after work, basically when everybody did it.
Exactly. Actually, I mean, the 15 minutes that you could take in an office to, I don't know, chat with a friend, grab some water, grab a coffee, cigarette break, that time is also adding up, and you're not really being productive. You're not doing anything, but you cannot really use it for anything else. So here from home, then you can just, as you said, like go buy some groceries or run some errands, and it's quite more productive. Yeah, you don't have to be waiting for or ask for a day off, and then just get all done the same day.
I'll be at home for Amazon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Actually,
I found myself shopping on Amazon way more now than I did before. So it's
they win. Actually, there are other online shops, but I also.
It is not sponsored by Amazon.
Yeah. Have you heard about Prime?
I will. Maybe someday. No, I don't know. I'm quite like, I have a lot of idealistic ideas about where to shop, which technologies to use, and about privacy settings, but I live by none of them. So I just use what's most convenient. So I use Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's cool when you can stay at home and you get packages delivered, and you can work from home and actually get stuff done on other ways, like getting things delivered as well. But
the thing is, I understand why maybe companies don't really want to go 100% remote, but also it's like getting used to it. The culture has to change, because I think right now bosses think like you don't work if you are not in front of them. If they don't see you working, then you are not working. And maybe for some people it's true, but if they work remotely or in an office, it's going to be the same. Some people just don't like to work, or they're just like to
slack off.
Exactly. So I don't feel working remotely is going to make you lazier or not work
I think
as much.
It puts it to add on. I think it puts a lot of demand on the management to sort of have well-defined tasks and measurable outcomes, so they can see work provided and they can measure it. And if that's the case, and in my case, like, it's happy customers. I am a IT consultant, so if I have happy customers, I deliver what they ask for, and every time they ask for me for things, they put my boss in CC basically, and then my boss comes to me and asks me, hey, can you do this by this day? And it's like, yeah, all right, and I deliver. And as long as that's the case, he doesn't really ask any more questions about that. Like, and it's really easy to manage, and it's customers are happy. So
Yeah, in my case, it's measured like in incidents. So each incident has its SLA, its service level agreement, and we cannot breach it. So I have to get them out of the queue. So they see me working, and I also work with some other people. So, but in general, they see people working when they see the incidents being cleared and when they see the emails being responded to, as Peter said, or the issues being taken care of. So that is an easy way, or well, certainly a good way to measure if you're working or not.
Yeah, in some ways, it's in some parts and areas it's easier to measure than in others. In many areas, you can really measure it quite easily, and otherwise, you have to be a little bit creative. But it's always possible, and it's easier, of course, and it's if the whole team is on the same schedule, on the same remote setup, basically. Is that the case with your clients, or are they mixed companies?
I'll start. In my case, I don't really have customers. I only work for one company for one service that we're providing, and they usually work from an office because I'm hired by a company in the UK. So this company has their own office there, so people work from there. But they also have people that are like offshore in India, here in Spain. I also have another colleague that's in my same situation. We work remotely for the same company, but it's not all of them. It's not all of them. The thing is, I think when people see you working, they see you being available in Link or Skype or whatever. They see that they can call you anytime and you're there. They don't really question like, oh, you're working from home and you're not really working. As long as you really just keep like a normal pace that you will have in an office and you really know that you are working, then I think people feel it too. They don't question it.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely possible to have both setups. Just I thought about it and I've experienced it that it's for the management, like Peter said, it might be easier to have either no one is remote or everyone is remote setup kind of procedure. But I'm sure I've seen both, so it works both ways. But it's also the processes get a little bit more complex, and the time zones. It's for you basically. You have a lot of things in common, so you're on the same tool set, you're on the same time zone, and you have the same kind of availability as everyone else, I assume. So
yeah, Peter doesn't. Don't you, Peter? You work from an American company.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's a hybrid approach. They have offices in Europe and in the US and in now Singapore as well. But it's we don't really, for us, it's a European-based, EMEA-based team, and our team is just distributed all over EMEA. We have an office in the UK, in London. And I haven't even been there yet. I've been working for the company for over a year and a half now, so I have never been there. Never really found a reason to. I've seen my boss at client sites and met him, and sometimes we've talked a bit there, and I meet up my other colleagues at the client sites when needed. That's about it. It's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, that works. Definitely, that works. Yeah. There are companies like Basecamp, for example, the company by Jason Fried and David Hannemeyer Hansen. That's this project management tool, and we're not sponsored by that. They are full remote, and they write a lot of books, these guys, about remote work and structuring a company, and they are advertising remote structures and so on. But I think I've seen more hybrid approaches than non-hybrid approaches. So the client that I'm still working for is also hybrid. Basically, they have a big team in the US and a remote team for some sectors of the company. So that's, I think, the more common approach still.
Okay. So yes, how do you see? Because I'm really curious about this. I always question like, where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do after this? Because I'm a freelancer, so any moment I can just say, we don't need your services anymore. Thank you, bye. Um, I always wonder, like, are there any more companies willing to hire remotely? I always get these LinkedIn offers like, we will relocate you to Barcelona, we'll relocate you to Luxembourg, but you still have to move, you still have to relocate. I'm wondering, I don't know if you know, Bessa, that if
Yes.
our companies willing to hire remotely more nowadays or not. I don't really have any feedback from anyone that can tell me this.
Good question, because we're at Glolent putting freelancers in touch with remote companies, basically. So we have a remote first approach, and I do realize that the market is opening up more and more. So there are a lot of companies that do not want to have a full remote team. And what I realize also working in this market is looking at the US and Canada. These guys are a little bit ahead of the game again. And in Europe, we adapt things a couple of years later, but they are embracing remote work as never before, basically. And companies that are basically connecting talent and companies are on the rise, because the opportunities get bigger, because you can put any client in touch with any candidate, and that helps these companies also attract more talent to their companies, basically. And so, yeah, it's a trend that goes upwards, but it's not yet universally embraced.
Yeah, and especially because, like, how do you handle time zones? Like, if you're a company willing to hire remotely, how do you handle the time zones? How do you know, like, if you're sleeping and the other one's working? How do you even handle that? How do you even know? Or it's what we were talking about, like, how do managers like measure the work?
Every company has their own solution. So
yeah, I imagine.
I've seen many different approaches also to handling time zones, with basically having people in people in Australia, the US, Europe, and so on the same team. So what it comes down to in terms of development, I can tell you, in terms of other parts where you have to work closer together, it's a different story. But developing apps and websites, for example, you can split tasks up and really plan them well with your project management tool, and mark dependencies, and make sure everyone has always something independently to work on, and that's get put together when everyone is on the same time at some point. You need to have some kind of overlap. That's the best case.
Right.
But
you need some way to have some sort of where you need to put or if you're doing agile, you need somewhere where you need to put your daily stand up or whatever, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You need 1 hour, 2 hours of overlap, but you almost always can create this, no matter where you are. And the other thing is, even if you're in the US, right, you have a lot of time zones there still. And still, these guys are a lot of companies that I see in the tech, digital market. They allow any time zone in the US, for example, to work with them. So that doesn't matter to them. And often they even open up to Europe and India and so on, and the whole world. They can manage depending on the tasks. So I think the time zone is the biggest challenge, really. If you ask me, like, the time zone will always kind of be difficult to deal with, and also the laws of who you can employ freelance
into the company, because I guess it's remote work, right? You have to comply with the laws of where that person is located. You have to set up an entity, right?
Yes, if you're employing, yes. If you're freelancing, that's the beauty of it.
So, of course.
So you can basically work for any company in the world, because you just sign a contract that is that is temporary, or that is giving you the possibility to cooperate with that country. So you have to sign some forms and so on, but you do not need an employment contract, so you're not technically employed. If you want to be employed, you need to have an entity in that country. That can be done, but a lot of companies will not do it if they don't already have that set up. But yeah, if you're freelance, you can use that. But a lot of companies prefer there still to hire people from their own country, basically, to simplify things. That's also what I see. It's kind of, I see great freelancers with great skills, and the hourly rates range is so different, though, depending on which country they're from. If you are a UK citizen or a US citizen, chances are you will, even with the same skill set, earn a lot more than someone who is from Romania or from Russia, for example.
Of course. I mean, that's why you get so much outsourcing. You get so much people working from the Philippines or India, or that they get paid way less. And yeah, that's what happens. I mean, I'm from South America, and I have to say I haven't experienced this, but I know friends of mine who have had this, that have this issue. They work from Colombia and they get paid way less than their corresponding in Spain. They usually work like in call center and stuff like that. So usually you get a different value.
I think wouldn't the HR department just look up the average salary for that particular profession, and then they just benchmark it against that, and then they make the offer, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, exactly. So they earn the relative of what will be the same here in Spain. Yeah. So it is still way less. So that's why they end up hiring more in South America than in Spain.
Yeah, that's true. But also that is changing a little bit. So if companies open up to working on a global field, basically, and looking out for rare skills, a person from countries where the wage is not that high will demand what they can earn, basically. And they know the global prices. And we actually at Glolent, we make sure that our freelancers get a competitive salary on a global level, not on their country level. It doesn't matter if you're in China, Philippines, US, or we still see the differences, but we see it's getting closer in the expert space, basically, with jobs where you need to be highly qualified to do them.
Well, that's good. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, especially we had a client that wanted some crypto programmers programming smart contracts. And I called a couple of people that there's only a handful of people that can program these Steam contracts. That's on the Steemit blockchain, for example. Yes. I called a guy, for example, from the Czech Republic, right? And he had there was an hourly rate on that job of I think advertised hourly rate was 70 euros or something, 70 to 80 euros per hour. And I called him, and he's like, "No, I will not work for this. That's shit money." And that's when I'm like, "Okay, you're basically in Czech Republic. You're a king if you earn that. Not a king, but you can live very, very well, I'm sure."
80 euros an hour, of course.
Yeah.
What was he expecting to earn then?
He asked me to ask for at least 100 or something, but that didn't happen. But he knew that, let's say, there's maybe 100 people in the world who can do what he can do, right?
Exactly. When you have such a niche knowledge, then you can't just go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And if the company really needs it, if they don't have an alternative, and the alternative is losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, they will just say yes, right? And he was covering a little bit. But that's just an example of how it works. And the more niche and the more kind of specialized you are, the more you can basically work on that global economy level. If you're, for example, if you work in a call center, you're not going to have that leverage. For example, you need to have something specialized in something, and then things will open up.
Well, it does make sense though, because like in my case, even though I'm not really specializing in any technology, because I'm mostly a team lead and I'm doing more management tasks, I do see it reflected on what I earn per hour. My hourly rate is better because of my management knowledge now. Even though I didn't have it before, but they have paid me accordingly, regardless of where I come from, regardless of where I'm living, regardless of everything, at the same as they are earning in the UK. So this is a golden opportunity for me. Like really, I was not really expecting it to even happen, and that's why I'm milking it as much as possible. I'm just like enjoying it. I really like it. I cannot say I'm suffering or anything because I like what I do. I have nice hours. I have a good team.
That's great. That is great.
Yeah,
it's difficult to complain.
Yeah, it's complaining. I could complain like anyone in their jobs, but when you have so many plus, like just so many pros against the cons, and it's really you just.
That's great. That is basically, that is the like a very great example on the power of working remotely, right?
Yeah, Peter mentioned before, like the adaptation period. I didn't really go through any of that. I like people, yes, I like teams and stuff, but nothing tops just putting on your headset, putting on some music, and just get to work.
Yeah.
And that is fantastic. Just being able to do that, no interruption, except Peter every now and then, like picking. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, I come up with fresh baked cookies. I come up with coffee.
Oh, come on. Yeah, don't tell yourself here. That happens like once a month.
I'm not making cookies for you anymore.
That sounds terrible.
I am. That's totally unfair. She's lying to everyone who's listening. She's totally lying.
Okay, yeah.
She just likes putting me down.
But it's that sounds great. Like you're the personality basically that enjoys that kind of work, and it's that's not a given. Everyone's different, and everyone responds differently to remote work. How's it for you, Peter? Would you, given the opportunity? No, you said that already. You don't actually like people that much.
No, I like selected people.
Actually, me too, to be honest. It's good to be able to choose.
Yeah,
always.
I want to choose when I want to socialize and not to. So, but yeah, no, of course. The tricky part is you really need to put an effort in to make it to socialize a bit more. Go out, see your friends. Otherwise, you notice that I'm a bit like I have this feeling of loneliness that I need to maybe scratch that I wasn't too familiar with before, and actually go out and make a true connection with someone. But that makes it all the more better because it's quality time that you've taken from the day and dedicated to that, and then so you have a proper time with your friends, which is actually quite nice. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can basically choice is a challenge, but also can make things a lot easier. And
I actually my routine is I wake up in the morning and I change in full working clothes. I do get dressed. I take a shower, have breakfast, get dressed. If I'm going to go out, I don't put on makeup, but it's like I'm going out. So I get in my working mood because you're spending a lot of time in your home. So feeling that you stop working and you are home, and then it's I don't know, the feeling that you get when you are home, which is always it's not relaxing, I finished working, now I'm home. Well, I've been home while I'm working, so it's not a relaxing atmosphere. But so that's what I do to to have these two moods. I change from my working clothes and I get, I don't know, comfortable pajamas.
I really need to do that.
I can't work in my pajamas.
I'm still technically in my pajamas. So yeah, it's not nice to you though, because you also work from home. You see me walking around in my stupid pajamas most of the day, and I'm running out of pajamas. I need more pajamas because I don't have enough work sets basically to want to walk around in. So actually, yeah, no, I need to get proper clothes and work.
Just when a meeting pops up with a video, you just pop on a shirt and
yeah, go full Donald Duck.
Your lower body is exposed. No one can see it, so
you'll earn a lot of listeners or viewers.
Exactly. This episode will double our amount.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
So we will have 10, basically.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's I know Peter says that he was in his pajamas, but I mean those are nice pajamas.
Nice pajamas.
Yeah, but it's the mood that you have to like differentiate. You have to let yourself disconnect after you're working and then be home and know that you are not working anymore. Yes. That is important to like disconnect. Like I'm not working anymore. I'm home now. I'm relaxing.
Yeah.
Once you make that difference, that's good.
Yeah. Shut off.
Yeah. But that's also an individual thing. Everyone, like some people do manage better to separate in their mind than others. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my way. I don't know others.
Well, I'm the same. I need a different space. That's why I rented my office to be able to separate better, basically.
But you work every day from this office?
Yeah. Basically, 4 out of 5 days. One day I go to TLR for working.
Okay. Yeah, I work once a week or every other week with my other colleague I mentioned before. We go to a co-working office and yeah, we work together. It's mostly for just seeing someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% antisocial, and I enjoy this going out, having lunch outside.
Oh yeah.
Normal. Yeah. Yeah. And that's also another thing, actually. When working from home, I think you get to eat healthier because you're not like bringing this Tupperware that you have to heat up in the microwave. And even though sometimes we do that here as well, when we don't have time to cook.
Super cooking.
It is. Yes. It gives you the option to be more healthy, right? You don't have to be going to the canteen and eat whatever they have. And you can prepare your own food.
Oh, this canteen that we had in PTA made things, prepared the dishes with a lot of oil. So, I mean, you didn't have much options. You had to go very far away if you wanted to go to the other one. So you had to like stick to that one, and it was super oily. It was like, no.
Yeah, we had the same back in Germany in the companies I worked for. We had mostly 3 options for that day, and if you didn't like any of that, well, good luck. Bad for you, because there wasn't anything close. So it gives you the option to be more creative with your food and
I mean that could be a problem to some people. Not everybody likes the cooking part.
It is true. Yeah, then you can still order, and like Eve does this sometimes.
We haven't ordered in, Peter.
Not in a while.
That's an option.
I mean,
I think for lunch.
That's
for lunch.
True. We haven't done that. We haven't brought up the food ordering apps. We actually are pretty good at cooking, to be honest.
Yeah. We managed to get time for that. That's really good.
Yeah, we take turns. One cooks and one does the dishes. Or in super busy days, we take up the microwave food and then we do the dishes later when we're both busy.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it's always one is not busy and one is not busy, or the other one is. So we can sort of take turns.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have a dishwasher to help
not
you with
yet.
the dishes?
It's on it. It should be on. We've hollowed out the space in the kitchen for it, so it's on its way soon.
It's a great investment. Do it. It's my first time I had a dishwasher, and I cannot go back. Dishwasher life. Basically, it saves so much time. And
I've never had a dishwasher, and I'm like this old-fashioned hand cleaning.
Yeah, but do it.
person.
I mean,
Of course, I'm gonna do it. Yes.
try it, and then tell me. Tell me 1 week later how you ever not had a dishwasher.
I'm sure. Yeah. I am not 100% against it, but like if you have 1-2 like plates, just wash them immediately. You don't have to wait for the dishwasher. But anyway, this is this different discussion.
I know but I like that actually. We don't have to talk about on the same subject all the time. But getting back to our main podcast subject, remote work, do you see yourself ever in a setting where you would want to go back to an office, or is that for you will always try to get remote jobs from now on, and even consider getting paid less than if you go to an office? Is that something that you would say describes your future attitude, or are you open to going back to an office kind of lifestyle?
They would need to double my salary. Probably double my salary, and then we can talk. And then after that, they need to offer me the same conditions as I have at home, in my current office, so to speak. Hey,
pajama.
Yeah, exactly. We allow very casual, extremely casual clothing. We allow your office is completely customized to your own needs. You have a waiting room for your friends, your own private kitchen, and a little sleeping room, dormitory.
That's
yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. No. If you can offer all of this and double my salary, then I could go to an office. I wouldn't have any problem with that. Yeah, that's fine.
That sounds very unrealistic. So
or you can just let me work remotely I can actually and the salary would be I wouldn't have asked for that much of a salary increase. I can actually consider lowering it. That's in fact what I asked for initially, because I wanted to stay here where I'm currently living, and I was looking around. And the remote, I saw remote, semi-remote organizations, which was like, you need to work from this country. You can work from home, but as long as it's from this country. And I was like, no, I want to work from here. But can't I just work for less? Just you don't have to give me the salary. Just pay me less. Just let me work from here. And it's tough. And they were like, oh, we can't make it happen. Well, I was like, oh, this sucks. Damn it. Okay, next one. And then I won the lottery and got this one and got this job. So
that's great. That's basically what I wanted to hear, because it proves that our assumption about remote work are correct, that in the future, basically the majority of people would prefer to work remotely. That's what I think, because I don't see the reasons to keep up all this clutter around office jobs. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's old-timey thing of factory thinking. Like, you're supposed to work in a factory, and you're an assembly line of processes. Get to work. Soul breaking. Exactly. God.
It is soul crushing. It is soul crushing.
Soul crushing. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I just wanted to add that, but it's like, I definitely don't feel that anymore.
It is true. No, it is true. I totally agree, because you take away so many comforts from the people that puts a lot of psychological stress on people if they do this too long.
Yeah.
I believe in that too. So that's why we're having higher burnout rates than ever, and higher depression and anxiety rates than ever. Because I think having like an office job especially is not really natural also, and combining that with more restrictions than before is not being the right way for many people, I think.
And that's assuming that you have like a good team, but what if you have a really shitty team, or a like very terrible boss, something like that really mines your morale, that you don't really want to go, and you're still forced to go there, be there, doing something that maybe you don't like. So it's not the best. But in just replying to the question about if I will be willing to go to an office, I would like to have the option, to to be able to choose if I want to work from an office or from home. If a company can give me that, then sure, why not? I'm aware that it's the opportunity, that the job that I have right now is maybe not normal. I don't know. So in the future, yes, I will really love to be able to continue with the remote job option. But if not, then at least I would like to have the option, like working 3 days from home, 2 days from home, or if I ever like completely change the branch, the where I'm working right now, and I start working in electronics, and I have to work in a laboratory. Hey, that's fantastic, because that's been like my dream. So I wouldn't mind at all to have less salary, work from my
But
laboratory.
then you can create a laboratory room in your apartment.
That would be extremely expensive, I will assume. I don't know. I mean, unless they pay for the equipment.
It's all about negotiation.
The security. Pablo, the security man outside our door, 24/7.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yes, guarding all the.
We're all becoming
guarding 2 couples working remote. Perfect. It's beautiful.
I know, that's the future, guys. So I think that's a nice note to end this on, and it has been a pleasure talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of fun.
Same here.
And we actually over the time, but that's totally fine. I think the listeners will enjoy this episode very much.
Fantastic. I just finished my beer as well, so.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Great. We should make this a thing in this podcast, that you have to drink beer.
You have to have a beer, yeah.
We started the trend.
I know you
There we
did. I'm going to put this in that. So thanks, guys, for doing this, and see you soon in real life.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
So much. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Glolent podcast, the podcast for freelancing and remote work in practice.